Today we're starting a brand new series on the 7 miracles in the Gospel of John. Now we'll get to those 7 miracles in just a second. But first, I want to make sure that you understand where we are in the Bible's table of contents. We're in the New Testament, and the first 4 books of the New Testament are called the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And when you read the Gospel of John, and we hope that you do, you'll notice that John describes 7 miracles of Jesus. And toward the end of the gospel, in John chapter 20, verse 30, John describes why he included those miracles. It says there that Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book, but these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. Now, we decided if John thought it was important enough to know these 7 miracles, then it's important enough for us to study those miracles as well. And that's why in this series, we're going to cover all 7 of the miracles in the Gospel of John so that you may believe. And here's the first one. It's when Jesus turned water into wine. And what you're going to learn is this: the first miracle of Jesus shows us that he has come to offer a life of joy, freed from the old rules of religion. Now, I don't know where you stand right now as you watch this video. Maybe you're a longtime believer and you've gone to church your whole life. Or maybe you're a little skeptical and you're not sure what you think about Jesus. Well, this first miracle is going to set the tone, and it's going to help you understand who Jesus really is and why he came in the first place. It comes from John chapter 2, and here's what it says. The next day, there was a wedding celebration in the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the celebration. The wine supply ran out during the festivities. So Jesus' mother told him, "They have no more wine." Here's what Jesus said: "Dear woman, that's not our problem. My time has not yet come." His mother told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Now you have to understand something about the Jewish culture in Jesus' day. It was a shame culture, and to run out of wine at a wedding in that kind of a culture would be a huge embarrassment. The groom had a social obligation to provide for every part of the wedding. And by running out of wine, you would have dishonored your guests, and you would carry that shame with you into the future. Now, Mary's expecting Jesus to do something because she's his mom. She wants him to take care of the problem at the wedding. And I think her interaction with Jesus teaches us an important lesson. We must come to Jesus on his terms. God isn't a cosmic vending machine who gives us everything we want at the moment we want it. It seems a little strange that the first miracle of Jesus is performed at a wedding feast. He's not going to heal a leper or raise a dead man. He's going to do something a little bit unexpected. And his mother serves as a great example for us today. Yes, she came to him with an issue and she asked for his help, as trivial as it seems to us today. But her response to him in verse 5 is a picture of true faith. Mary believes that Jesus has the power to make things right in the way that he thinks is best. And here's what happened next. Starting in verse 6, it says that standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washing. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons of water. Jesus told the servants, "Fill the jars with water." When the jars had been filled, he said, "Now dip some out and take it to the master of ceremonies." So the servants followed his instructions. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. "A host always serves the best wine first," he said, "but you have kept the best until now." Now, a little bit about those ceremonial stone water jars. Those were just a small part of the larger system of religious rituals for the Jewish faith. If you were a Jew in Jesus' day, you would get the sense that you had to jump through all of these religious hoops in order to be accepted by God. And one of those hoops was to wash your hands to be ceremonially clean at a wedding such as this. But see, when Jesus turned the water into wine in those jars, he actually defiled them and made them useless for ceremonial cleansings. That would be incredibly offensive. But Jesus knew exactly what he was doing. And here's the point to this first miracle. Jesus will do more than we can imagine. See, when Jesus filled those jars with wine, he was shocking the world about his true mission. Later in the Gospel of John, Jesus said it like this: The thief's purpose is to steal and kill and destroy. My purpose is to give people a rich and satisfying life. Wine to ancient Jewish people represented joy and gladness. And I think Jesus turned water into wine on purpose to show people why he really came. Jesus didn't come to enforce cold and lifeless religion. Jesus came to give people a rich and satisfying life. If you're still struggling to really understand the Jesus of the Bible, I encourage you to read John chapter 2. And here's what you're going to learn. In his first miracle, Jesus was telling the world that he wants to do something new for you. He was revealing that the way to God goes through him and is by faith. So many religious people get this wrong. They think that the way to God is through keeping the rules. But Jesus destroyed that wrong idea with his first miracle. Romans 3:22 explains the idea like this. We are made right with God by placing our faith in Jesus Christ, and this is true for everyone who believes, no matter who we are. Jesus brought that message to a bunch of Jews 2,000 years ago who thought that they were made right by keeping the requirements of the law. But this first miracle in John chapter 2 represented the dawning of a new day. And verse 11 says, his disciples believed in him. What about you? Have you met the Jesus who turned water into wine? This first miracle in the book of John was written so that you may believe.